In the previous video, we understood how dependency injection works and we got a brief introduction about service. In this video, we will understand the importance of using service in Angular. I'm going to explain about two scenarios which results in code repetition in an Angular application. Let us consider that an Angular application contains a set of components. There is a specific validation logic and the same validation logic is required in a set of components. The validation logic code is repeated in those components. This is the first scenario that represents code repetition. Let us look into the next scenario. Few components make a backend call to a specific backend API. After receiving the data from the API, the data needs to be processed. The code to process the data is repeated in the components that calls this specific backend API. Now I have provided two scenarios which results in repetition of code. I have provided these two scenarios as an example. There may be many other scenarios that leads to code repetition among components. We already know that code repetition can be handled by including the repeating code within a function. Let us say that we are defining a function in a component and this function contains the code that is repeating. This function can be used within the component class where the function is defined but other components cannot access the function. If the code repetition functions are defined in a centralized location, it can be used by all the components. Those functions can be included in a separate TypeScript file. The functions within this TypeScript file should be defined with the export keyword so that it can be imported and accessed in the components which needs them. Now the validation code repetition can be avoided in the components. Those components can import the function and call them. Similarly, the code for the second scenario can be moved into a function in the centralized TypeScript file. This as well can be exported, then imported in the respective component classes and used. For a large application, the number of functions in this file will be of higher count, which makes it difficult to manage this TypeScript file. To properly organize these functions, it should be grouped and defined in separate exportable classes. Now the component have to import these classes, create an object for the class and call the required function. This results in creation of multiple objects of the class in various components. We should avoid the creation of multiple objects. We need a mechanism to create the object once and use it in all the components. Now the question is, from where will be these objects created and made available to these components? This is where dependency injection comes into play. In the previous video, we saw how a class can be defined as a service in Angular using @injectable_decorator. We also saw how Angular creates an injector to store the service objects into a registry. Then we saw how the object is provided and injected through the constructor parameter. Hope the explanation provided so far helps you understand the challenges faced when implementing a large complex application and how service feature in Angular helps to address the design issues. Now I will list out how Angular has visualized the responsibilities of component and service. Component should focus on displaying the data to the user, capturing data from the user with basic validation. Complex validation logic, common reusable tasks, and getting data from backend are ideal scenarios to be defined as a function in a service class. Angular does not force you to implement service. It is possible to implement the above discussed solutions without using a service, but by using service, it makes it possible to quickly apply the coding best practices. Hope this video helps to understand the importance of using service feature in Angular. In the next video, we will understand how to create a service using Angular CLI.